Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tarot CelebriTEA with your boy Ducky. Today, we are going to be reading some tarot cards on Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White's connection with one another. So, before I do that, I do want to apologize for not posting as much as I used to. I recently switched to having a new job and I'm in my second week of training, so it's been a little bit of hectic. And I think what my new posting schedule is going to be like now, hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going to go back to posting 3 times a week instead of 5 times a week. So I do want to apologize for anyone that's been waiting on some of my videos after I confirmed that I was going to do your request. I'm so sorry. But yeah, remember to keep in mind that these videos are for entertainment purposes. If you are new or don't really watch a lot of these videos, just remember to keep that in mind. And why are these for entertainment purposes? That is because we do not have Jenna Ortega, nor do we have Percy Hynes White here to confirm, nor deny that what I'm seeing in the cards and how I'm interpreting the cards is resonating with them or is not resonating with them. That's not to say it's not true, but we just don't have them here. So just remember to take these videos with a grain of salt or 2 grains of salt. And without further ado, let's get started on Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White's tarot card reading. So first, let's just start with, what is their combined energy like together? When they are together, what is their combined energy like? We got the High Priestess. Great card to start out with. We got the Magician. Wow. And we got the 6 of Swords in reverse. Little throwing us in for a little bit of a loop here. So, let's get into it, shall we? So we got the Magician here along with the High Priestess as the first 2 cards that showed up. These are 2 of the first 22 cards of the tarot deck, also known as the Major Arcana. And whenever I was learning tarot, it stated that whenever more Major Arcana cards show up in a reading, that means that there's like a strong chapter in this person's life, or in these people's lives, I should say, in this case. So because 2 of the 3 cards here are Major Arcana cards, I feel like there is a strong bond here, and I really do feel like the 2 of them have made such a great and grand impact in one another's life. Okay, why does that sound weird? In each other's life. They have made a great impact in each other's life. And so here we have the High Priestess, and you know what? They are consecutive. We have the Magician here, which is card 1, and card 2, the High Priestess. So I would imagine, this can be Jenna Ortega and this is Percy Hynes White. The 2 of them just have this very ethereal, magical bond here. The High Priestess, also can talk about having a very strong, feminine, influential figure in your life. So I really do feel like here, Percy Hynes White sees Jenna Ortega as someone, a feminine energy, a feminine figure that is so personable to him, someone that he feels so close to and he feels a deep connection with. And here we got the Magician. So also I could see that like there's just this magical quality between the 2 of them that maybe, I don't know if whether they believe in manifestation or not, but like maybe they've had a conversation between the 2 of them of like, wow, like, can you believe that this is actually our lives now? Like we made it. We dreamt about this, we thought about this, we had this kind of like magic happen, this magical situation happened. And because there is such a magical situation and bond and connection that has happened between the two of them, there's a difficulty of letting go with the Six of Swords here in reverse. You know, the Six of Swords is all about letting go and moving on to bigger and better things. But with this card coming in reverse, I feel like Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White have a hard time of letting go. They're afraid of being like, okay, well, like things were so great and magical. We've learned so much. We've grown so much. We've trusted ourselves throughout this whole process. And we are afraid of moving on. We're afraid of doing other things. What if other things aren't as great as this connection was, or as this season was? Because I did see Wednesday, so there is a little bit of partialness here. I normally go into most of the videos blindly because I don't know the celebrities that I'm reading for, but in this case, I did watch Wednesday, and I do feel that the two of them are afraid of moving on. They're afraid of like, okay, what if like season 2 isn't as great, or what if when we move on, the connection here, the magical bond that we've had fizzles out. You know, what if that magic expires? It's just what I'm hearing. So it's a little bit, you know, it's great, but it's a little bit sad that they feel that way. And that's just based off of the cards that are showing up. So let's just pull some cards on Jenna Ortega's thoughts on Percy Hynes White. We got the Eight of Swords in reverse. I'm just hearing liberation. And I got the King of Wands in reverse. Ooh, interesting. Now let's get some cards representing Percy Hynes White. Percy Hynes White's thoughts on Jenna Ortega. We got the Four of Wands in reverse. And we got the Two of Cups in reverse. That is so interesting. Like, the reason why I'm saying it's interesting is because the connection here is so strong here in the beginning with their combined energy, but there's some kind of like moving on. There's some kind of separation that they don't want to happen, that maybe is happening or is being forced to happen or is inevitable. And so it's changing a little bit of their dynamic. So here we got Jenna Ortega's thoughts on Percy Hynes White. So there's a sense that like Jenna Ortega believes that like Percy Hynes White is freeing himself from self-limiting thoughts and things like that, and also like from jealous or vengeful or even angry attitudes. There could be a sense of like maybe in the beginning Percy Hynes White maybe had a lot of like passion, but sometimes that passion would be channeled into anger. But now Jenna Ortega sees that he's kind of freeing himself from this kind of like angry or jealous or vengeful type of energy, and freeing himself into something that's like better for him mentally, which is great. So that's what I'm seeing. So that's actually a pretty good energy that I'm seeing from Jenna Ortega's perspective. Now Percy Hynes White perspective on Jenna Ortega is that there is a separation here. There's a disconnect now. You know, the Two of Cups normally talks about a pairing, an emotional pairing that was great, but when it comes in reverse, there is this like emotional disconnect in a situation or in a relationship that used to be harmonious. So there's like some kind of disharmony, and it also is making sense with this Four of Wands in reverse, you know, because the Four of Wands is all about prosperity and being grounded, but this card came in reverse, so there is this sense of like ungroundedness, or yeah, just not maybe being as grounded about something. So I'm getting a sense that there's like a disconnect here. I feel like maybe Percy Hynes White could maybe be thinking that with Jenna Ortega's fame, it has caused a little bit of a rift between their connection, and when things used to be great between them, and now there's like this disconnect here. Like I'm not really sure, and I don't feel like it's really my place to kind of spread any kind of misinformation. I'm just relaying what I'm seeing here. But there is some kind of sense where there used to be a strong bond, a strong groundedness that Percy Hynes White used to think of when he would think of Jenna Ortega, but now this like groundedness is uprooted, and it's not as solid, it's not as grounded, and it's not as cohesive, it's not as connected as it used to be. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm seeing. um there is this thing of like not wanting to move forward, um and I'm not sure really where it's coming from, but I'm kind of getting the sense that um Percy Hynes White could see that like things maybe aren't going to be the same as they used to be. The connection isn't going to be the same as it used to be, and maybe that's why there's this like wishing like he could stay, in the past with the way how things used to be. But, energy is always constant, energy is always moving, it's always changing. And so is this. This is changing, this is moving around, and maybe it could be that some of the success that Jenna Ortega has had. I mean, all of them have had success, right? Everyone that's been a part of this show have had great success. But it seems like maybe there's this grand change. There's these grand changes that are going on, and maybe it's causing a little bit of a rift, a little bit of like people going separate ways. So that's what I'm seeing. Interesting. All right, so let's finish off this video with some advice for Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White. For those of you that are watching and maybe you're like thinking like, is there like a romantic connection between these two? I really don't feel like, with the way that the cards came out, that there is a romantic connection. And as y'all know, I don't really like to delve into that route of celebrities' lives because that's not really our place. But what I can say is that I do see that there is a strong connection that they have, but things are changing, and maybe one or two parties don't wish for things to change, maybe because they're afraid of things not being the same. But there is this kind of like disconnect going on where there's like a parting of ways. So that's the most I can say about that. So let's get some advice for Jenna Ortega. We got the Chariot. She's on the right path. She needs to just keep on trusting herself. She is doing great things. And we got the King of Swords, but she needs to mind her thoughts, the way she speaks. It could be misconstrued a different way, and maybe that's kind of like where Percy Hynes White is maybe seeing that, like, oh, is the fame getting to her head? There's something going on here where she needs to be a little bit more mindful of her thoughts and her speech, and maybe not being so like high and mighty. And I totally get that, because on my book of birthdays, it says for people born on my birth date, I need to be careful to not proclaim things from like a high and mighty place where it seems like, oh, I'm greater than thou, even though that's not the intent. And I don't feel like that's Jenna Ortega's intention either, because she's on the right path. With this Chariot card showing up, she's on the right path, and she needs to just keep on trusting herself and knowing that she's on this great trajectory, but to just be mindful of the things she says being misconstrued in a certain way, where it could be like, oh, now that you're like having this great success and you're like on this great trajectory, of propelling your career forward. You think you're better than us. She just needs to be a little bit mindful of that, is just what I'm seeing. The wandering path. Yeah. So the wandering path is all about, trusting the path she's on. Wherever this path will take her currently, she needs to know that it's the right path with this chariot here and with the wandering path showing up here. She's going to be pulled in a lot of different ways is what I'm seeing, and it's because of the success of Wednesday. And I think she just needs to, if she feels it's great for her, she needs to go for it. Even if some of these things are propelling her in different ways, and she feels like maybe she's wandering or she's being pulled in all sorts of directions, I feel like she should just trust it, and allow herself to wander. Excuse me. I got a tickle in my throat. Allow herself to wander and try different things that are being offered to her. Yeah, but just to be mindful of her thoughts and maybe the way she speaks towards others, and I think it'll be great. So let's get some advice for Percy Hynes White. Wow, interesting. We got the Empress and we got the King of Coins. Then we got Mordred. There's a lot of darkness that I'm seeing here in this card. A lot of darker, more muted colors. Let me take a look at this. Mordred. Anger. Wow. Here at the beginning, anger, sorrow, negativity. And remember how I saw, like in Jenna's perspective, that she feels like she feels that Percy Hynes White is freeing himself from some kind of anger or some kind of thoughts that are very self-defeating. The advice I'm seeing here for Percy Hynes White is to, channel all that anger or all that sorrow that he has into plans that are productive. Because I feel like with him being casted on Wednesday, maybe he feels like, he manifested it, and so he really needs to be careful with his desires, with his passions, and not letting those passions and desires turn into anger, because it does seem like he is in a great place right now to manifest, to set goals, to set some plans, and some great grounding techniques, that if he's not careful, some of these grounding techniques or some of these plans can cause some kind of like anger, or they can cause him to go in a different route. So he just needs to be careful to continue, being grounded and channeling that, maybe whenever he's frustrated, when he's angry, when he's sad, to channel all those strong emotions, because, those are very strong, potent emotions, but to channel those emotions into something productive, into something that will keep him grounded, and something that will be fruitful. Here with the Empress, the Empress is all about fertility and fruitfulness and abundance. So he really needs to be careful with that, with these strong emotions, because he does seem to have really strong and powerful emotions, but sometimes maybe they can be channeled in ways that can be not so productive. So he just needs to be careful with that, and if he uses those stronger feelings in a productive manner, where it causes, or it creates a sense of groundedness and foundation and organization, he's going to be fruitful. He's going to be abundant. He's going to have a lot of great things coming to him. So that's what I'm seeing for this reading. Let me know what you thought of this video. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, or a thumbs down if you did not like the video. And if you did not, let me know why. Feel free to give me some constructive criticism. I'm always open to hearing your opinions. yeah, if you are fans of either of these beautifully talented celebrities and maybe you've seen some interviews about them, let me know what your thoughts are. If that's what with based off of some of the cards that I saw, because I did see one interview, I believe, of the cast of Wednesday, and there did seem to be a little bit of friction between Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White, um, and that I did kind of notice that like friction of based off of the cards that showed up. So anyway, remember to take care of yourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and sexually. Love and respect yourselves and others, and stay hydrated. Thanks so much for watching. See y'all on the next video. Bye.